Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf Kesubos daf Samach Dalet number 64. I had to stop Iyun with Benzion. I'm supposed to give it in the morning, but I had to go pick up my daughter from Gan, so it's pushed to the afternoon, and hence I got a haircut in between. Uh, number 3 on top. Uh, beard trim number 1 for the beard. I have been going with a beard for a while. I've been going clean shaven, but my wife urged me. She liked it better with a beard, so I said for a little bit of time I'll give it the beard. I got a haircut at my friend Aaron over here. Ellie Herzog was there also. Me and Ellie Herzog were chatting it up about taking hair out of your ears. He had uh, a special thing that was done. Put some black tar on some like popsicle sticks and put them in his ear to remove the ear hair. Um, Apparently, it prevents it from growing for another 2 weeks and to start to grow. He comes twice a month. He comes for Masader, it's called in Hebrew, just to arrange his hair nicely. Got to look good as a star, so I got to look good also. Maybe I have to go twice a month also. And then, of course, because I have the beard, he thought I was a rabbi. Aaron. So Aaron says, "Can I take it Shabbos on Thursday?" I'm thinking about this, as a rabbi, it's a very monumentous psak halacha over here. I don't know whether, what's going to happen if I already tell them you could say good Shabbos on Thursday. People will start keeping Shabbos already on Thursday, instead of accepting Shabbos, an hour before Shabbos or 50 minutes before Shabbos. As a school up, people are going to start keeping Shabbos on Thursday. So I told him my mother-in-law, she set the table for Shabbos on Wednesday. She doesn't set the table, she puts on the Shabbos table on a Wednesday. So I said, I didn't answer him directly. My mother-in-law doesn't mean I do. As a rabbi, you have to know how to answer their questions. A double entendre. All right. So I want to discuss today Daf Samach Dalet number 64. We have an unusual Mishnah. The Mishnah says on Samach Dalet Amud Beis, Hamasha es isha al shlish lo yifchos la mishnei kab, and it lists the measurements, how much you have to feed her if you're masha isha al shlish. What does that mean? So Rashi says, Shinosna bezonoseh beis hapatropos ve'ena misgalgelos imo. Practically means he's not really living with her. They're separated, or he wants to spend some time away by himself on vacation, on travel, business travel. So he has to appoint an apotropos, a guardian, to make sure she has enough food. So it mentions how much food she has to give her. Now, and the question with the Mishnah is that, what about when he's living with her? Like, he has to provide mizonos seha, right? Midoraisa, sheira, midarabanan, mizonos, sipukaichi, mizonos saichi, parnasasaichi. You have to provide these things. We discussed sheira on the rice level, mizonos on the rabbanan level, but this Mishnah, what is it talking about? It's talking about only when the case is Masha Ishlal Shalish, or in every case. And further, confuse us. The last line of the Mishnah says, Medra Amur Bani Shema Yisrael, Mechubod HaKol V'Chvodo. This whole Mishnah is talking about when he's a very poor person. Now, the things he gives in this Mishnah are not, small things. He has to give a lot of wheat. He has to give fruits to her. He has to give dates to her. He has to give things, not just a poor person. A poor person eats pas melch tochel mayim suratishta. He's eating bread and water. Seems like he's giving her a decent cuisine, not a huge cuisine, but a decent cuisine. Give her, new shoes 3 times a year. That's pretty good. So if it's talking about Ani Sheba Yisrael, so why is he giving her so much? Technically, we learned that if he comes from a poor family and she comes from a poor family, he's only responsible to give her what he and she were accustomed to. They both came from poor families, then she could subsist. All he has to provide is bread and water. That's where they both came from, the families they came from. If one came from a better family, that's the halacha of Ola Imo B'Enu Yoredes Imo. Either because of his family or because of her family, she gets the better thing. But here's Mishnah says, even an Ani Sheba Yisrael, and presumably it's even talking about she's an Aniyah Sheba Yisrael, she comes from a poor family, he has to give her a decent amount. And so the article says, it would appear from Rashi in footnote number 4 that the food provisions that the Mishnah proceeds to delineate are obligatory only when the husband and wife do not live together. Whenever they do live and eat together, and the husband is a poor man who eats only dry bread, he is not required to provide his wife with better meals than he provides for himself. This appears to be the opinion of Shulchan Aruch Ibn Ezer 70-2.3 as well. So the article's inference from Rashi is that we're only talking about a case where he's Masha Ali Day Shlish. He's not home. He's not home. He has to provide better stuff for her. The Rambam seems to argue and says that he always has to give this. Now, to me, it seems that Rashi makes a lot of sense. The Shulchan Aruch Psak makes a lot of sense, based on what I said before, that the halacha of Olimo and Nerestimo only is when one of them was privileged to a better life before the marriage, and neither of them was privileged to a better life before them. He doesn't have to provide all these things. So these things, you know, are nice things. They're average. I don't know, middle income type of things he has to provide for her. What's it talking? Why only when he's Masha de Shlish? I want to introduce a new idea over here. Masha Isha de Shlish. I mean, what is it talking about? Like, why does he have to appoint an apatrop as a guardian to give these things to his wife? He can't leave food in the kitchen closet, in the pantry. He can't leave this food there. He can't give her money to go to Gourmet Glatt and buy food over there. Go to Osharat here in Israel. He can't give her money for these things. She's so incompetent. She needs a guardian. We're not talking about a shota over here. I'm talking about a mentally incompetent woman. So I like to suggest, I told this to an Avrich in the Mir, Rosh Chabura in the Mir. I got a smile out of him. Shlish is a third. Shlish is from Lashon Shalosh, right? As I spoke about in the main shir, really ideally, a man is supposed to be able to marry to more than one wife. You know, in most of the free world, monogamy is the accepted norm, but based on the Torah, it's clear from Yaakov, from many other instances, David HaMelech, polygamy was practiced. That was the norm. Polygamy, monogamy wasn't so. And I offer that's the answer to the shidduch crisis, right? The good boys, the real men, they get a lot of women. They get a polygamy. The men that don't qualify, they're not good men. They don't get a wife, right? There's more good girls than boys. You're right, because there's only a couple of real men. The real men go all the women. So shidduch crisis is solved if you introduce polygamy. I feel like I'm going crazy to hear that. Yeah, polygamy, right? Don't worry, the guy found his shit. You can still go out more days. Just give her a shavua, give her sheva brachos. And if the sheva brachos is over, then he can look into another one. Right? That's what it said by Yaakov, but Leah and then 7 days. Then he married Rachel after sheva brachos. So, even sisters, right? You can marry sisters as long as they're not babas achas, like Rashi's Torah. Anyway, so I like to say he's Masha de Shlish. I'm going to talk about through Seder Nashim some radical concepts, not so radical if you factor in a man's desires, a human man's desires, and what's been practiced in different cultures throughout the generations. Either it's a second wife, or he's having maybe a prostitute for a night, or he has kedushin. We'll talk about what really kedushin is. But he has a third person in the house. Shlish is a third person. Him, his wife, and his mistress. The mistress. So that night he's going to be with his mistress. So everybody knows it's very hard. It's probably very hard. The concept of polygamy everyone struggles with. It's very hard emotionally for the woman that she loses her husband to another wife. Sarah, the whole Yevamos is talking about Sarah. She causes pain to her rival wife, but it's the reality of Maseches Yevamos, Saros. That's what Maseches Yevamos deals with. He's married to more than one wife. And when he has that mistress, he's spending the night with the mistress, he has to appease his wife, his regular wife. So he gives her, for that night, we're not talking about he's away for a month, he's away for 2 months. That night, he gives her a really nice spread. He give her a different room, a different wing in the house. It has a nice spread. She enjoys herself, She doesn't feel so bad because, women, just like men, enjoy good food, enjoy luxurious things. These were luxurious things maybe back then. I mean, maybe now dried figs is not such a luxury. You give her some ice cream, you give her some chocolates, some Belgian chocolates. So, these things to appease the woman. Amasha Shlish. The Rambam says you can leave your wife. You can't leave your wife. You have to live with your wife under normal circumstances. However, when you have someone else in the house, a shlish, that's what the Mishnah is talking about. In tomorrow's daf, we'll discuss this more, the relevant halachos for the circumstances in this Mishnah. I believe, like Rashi says, right, the only reason that he's able to do this, really, if they're married together, right, this is his wife, there's no other woman involved, so then the normal halachas apply. that only when one comes to a privileged house. Otherwise, like Rashi says, they're living together. All he has to give her is dry bread, like he and she is accustomed to. However, even if they're both accustomed to dry bread, if he wants to introduce a new woman into the house, he has to make her night enjoyable and give her good food that night. So in order to appease her and make her not feel so bad, that's what it's talking about. It says, if he's a rich man, gives her even nicer stuff. It's the conclusion of today's share. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.